How do I study for the LSAT is one of the most common questions we get, and honestly, it's a big enough topic that we can make 100 videos about it. In fact, we build entire courses around it. But in this video specifically, we're going to give you a framework. We'll call it the 4 pillars of a solid LSAT study plan, so you know exactly how to start. But first, welcome back to the Blueprint LSAT channel, where we talk all things LSAT and law school admissions. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to get notified and stay up to date on all our latest videos. The first thing you need to do before you study a single question is figure out your timeline. Most students need roughly 200 to 300 hours of study time to be ready for the LSAT, which works out to somewhere between 3 and 6 months of prep. Start with your ideal test date in mind and see if that will give you enough time. Ask yourself, how many hours a week can you realistically study? And be honest. Think of your average, chaotic, everything is happening week. Are there big life events coming up? Finals, work deadlines, a life-changing trip scaling Mount Everest? Plan around them. Don't pretend they won't happen. Try to give yourself more time than you think you need. You might need an extra month or two to be fully ready. Almost every student underestimates how demanding LSAT prep can be. Build in a buffer just in case. If you haven't taken your LSAT diagnostic yet, that score will help shape your timeline too. Huge score increases are very common, but they tend to take more time. If you need to take a diagnostic, check the description for a link to a free one. Once you've figured out how long you're probably going to study, you need to figure out how you're going to study. That depends on your learning style, your schedule, and your budget. Some students self-study, which normally means you cobble together books, free resources, Law Hub, and whatever else you can find. It requires a ton of self-discipline, and it's easy to end up with conflicting strategies from different sources. If you go this route, be careful about that. If you like the idea of prepping on your own time, but not entirely on your own, a self-paced course might be a better option. These are usually structured programs you work through on your own schedule. You get a clear roadmap without having to build one yourself, which is a huge advantage. Great if you're busy or just prefer to move at your own pace. Another option is a live class. Here, an instructor leads a course and you're learning alongside other students in real time. If you thrive in such an environment and want the accountability of showing up somewhere, this is worth considering. Finally, there's private tutoring. A tutor works with you one-on-one, focused entirely on your specific weaknesses. Blueprint LSAT actually offers self-paced, live, and tutoring options. So if any of those sound perfect for you, we'll link all of them in the description below. But whatever you choose, the key is picking an approach and committing to it. Progress in LSAT prep comes from consistency and showing up every day. Now, getting down to the actual studying part. The LSAT is a timed test, so it's natural to think you should be practicing under timed pressure from day one. But early in your prep, timing doesn't matter. Here's why. There's no point in learning how to do something faster if you can't do it correctly yet. Speed comes from accuracy, not from rushing. So, the journey usually looks like this. First, you learn the strategies for each question type. Untimed, no pressure. Then, as accuracy builds, you start introducing timed practice gradually. Maybe you do a small set of questions at 1.5 times test speed. Then, those small sets at full test speed. Then, timed exam sections. Then, fully timed full practice tests. It's a progression. If you try to skip to the end before you've done the work, you'll just be practicing your mistakes faster. Finally, we get to the most underrated piece of advice we can give you. A lot of students think the path to a better LSAT score is just doing more questions. Let's grind through hundreds of practice questions, take tons of practice tests, and we'll be good. That's not entirely true. Practice is essential, but what actually moves the needle is review. This is where a lessons learned journal comes in. Every time you miss a question, you write it down. What question type it was, why you picked the wrong answer, what you missed about the right one, and whether you're seeing a pattern in your mistakes. Do this every time you complete practice questions and practice tests. It sounds tedious, and yeah, it kind of is. But this is where the real improvement happens. Pretty soon, you'll start catching your own mistakes before you make them. We actually have this built right into Blueprint's courses. It's one of those features that students don't know they need until they actually need it. So there's your LSAT prep framework. Timeline, prep style, accuracy over speed, and review everything. 4 pillars, and honestly, if you do just these 4 things consistently, you're already ahead of most people who sit down for this test. We'll go deeper into each of these in their own videos, so make sure you subscribe and check out the rest of our videos. And if you're ready to stop planning and start actually doing, Blueprint LSAT courses cover all of this and more, with structure that takes you from diagnostic all the way to test day. Check the description below for more information on those and links to tons of free resources.